some graded cards to reveal, and for the first time in like a year, we're back with Beckett. And by back with Beckett, I mean I'm just using Beckett again. It's not that I'm back with him, I was never with them. It's not sponsors, what I'm trying to say. I just like Beckett Slab, and I like their grading standards, sometimes with an asterisk. And based on what I'm seeing with these, I'll explain why it's an asterisk. Not that I'm salty, but I'll explain what I don't like about their review system and Black Label and stuff. But first things first, this package was lost. This is a PSA package featuring Charizards and a Lugia, and it was supposed to arrive last week and it's been lost. I was literally getting ready to file a ticket when it was out for delivery. Like, what? Why did it take so long? I don't even live that far from PSA. Like, I could have gone and picked it up myself. Anyways, we're gonna go ahead and open this first because I'm excited about this. I did see the grades because with it being gone, I wanted to know what I potentially lost. And I'll be real with you, when this first was basically showing that it wasn't moving, I was like, well, it could have been worse. It could have been like a PSA 10 Lugia or something. Then I would have been annoyed. But yeah, let's go ahead and do these first. Okay, we'll do this one first like this. And then we'll go down the list and we'll do the Beckett stuff as well. So first things first, speaking of Lugia, we have the Unseen Forces Cosmo Foil Lugia. This card, honestly, is one of the most underrated cards in that set. I know everybody's after the EX, Lugia EX, which I used to own and I got rid of it. And of course, when I get rid of it finally, people suddenly want it and the card jumped like 4 times the price. But whatever, it's fine. It went someone who cares, I think. I don't know. But what I did is I bought a PSA 9. I cracked it out. I graded it, came back at PSA 9, and I did it again. But this time I did it under Express. Because Express, isn't this supposed to get notes? I thought when you do Express, you get graded notes. I thought the whole point of Express is you cannot do graded notes. Unless I just didn't submit it right. No, I got nothing on here. If anyone's ever used PSA notes before, let me know how that is. But we got a 9 again. I mean, it's better than going down, I guess. I do think that this Lugia looks incredible. It's hard to tell because there's every glare in the universe right now in front of this card. But what I always look for when I buy 9s to like resub is there like corner damages? Are there like white dings? It's very common to have like for example, look at this ARS Mewtwo. It's very common for Pokemon cards to have this. And sometimes they'll give those a 10. But if you see that, don't even bother reviewing it or cracking it out. It's probably gonna be a 9 or an 8. That could potentially go down. But this looks so clean when I'm like, there's no print lines. I look for print lines. I had like a nice little review. I had black light over it. There's no whitening on the back at all. So honestly, I might sub this again as a, maybe I'll do like a review and see what happens. But I do think this is clean. It's like very, very clean. Or I might even send it to ARS. Maybe they don't like the centering on us. And again, going back to the whole argument I had the other day, I don't like the centering is like a big thing. And to kind of explain why I don't like centering is a thing, is because we right now in the collectibles community are so ingrained on looking at centering more than anything. That's not what shows that a card is good condition or not. What you should always look for is whether or not, number one, is print lines, and if there's no print lines, is there any corner damages? Is there any whitening? If it doesn't have that and it comes down to centering, then it's like, this is not damaged. The card is in great condition. I hate that now people look at centering more than anything. That's because you're taught to do that. If you see a card like this, the average person won't know it's off center. That one person comes like, actually, I can see the centering. Like, nobody cares, bro. In general, what matters in a card, condition-wise, is whether or not there's actual physical damage on the card. If a card is printed slightly to the left or slightly to the right, that's not damage. It's just how the card was born that way, bro. I don't know what to tell you. That's why I like the philosophy with ARS, who don't look at centering like that. They look at everything else. Because, like, again, if a card just is shifted to the left or to the right a little bit, it's not damage. It's just, you know. Now, if it has print lines, whitening, all that stuff, sure, lower grades. But I never was a big fan of centering being like the big deciding factor between a 9 and a 10 sometimes. But yeah, I'm gonna try this one again because I do think this one could be a 10. And I think recently, unfortunately, this did just sell for a lot of money as a PSA 10. So now this is on the radar. When I bought this card, I bought the 9 for like 150 bucks. I bought 2 copies. I bought a 9 and an 8. And the 8 came back in 8 twice. So I think that was just gonna be, you know, chilling at 8. But the 9 came back in 9 twice. So it's like, it's just on the edge. I feel like it could get there. All right, now the 3 Charizards that I pulled. Bam. Bam. Wah, wah. What's funny about this, if you watch my grade returns in the past, like 2 months now, 3 months, I have subbed these 3 cards like twice each, and every single time they came back a 9. This time what I did is I subbed them under Express, because I feel like if you do Express, you get more care on the cards. Whereas if you get like the lower, this is just like a conspiracy hat theory, something I don't like about PSA. But again, tinfoil hat theory, I don't know how accurate this is. When you do the lower subgrades, or not subgrades, if you do like the lower submission rates, so like super bulk or value or whatever, I feel like it goes through a system where people just don't want to give out 10s because you're not supposed to or something. Whereas if you pay more, which sounds really shitty, if you pay more, then you actually get graded, so we'll look at the cards. Because I'll tell you right now, 2 of these should have been a 10. This one definitely, I will argue it doesn't have to be, because the centering is a lot more visible how off it is. So look at that. Like, look at that. This is the first one I pulled the first time. But these two were a whole lot cleaner. So I was like, how are these getting 9s? And then I was like, you know what? They probably just don't want to give it a 10 just because it says Charizard on it, number 1, and 2, I'm doing the value submission. So let me undo that. But yeah, I'm gonna actually send this to ARS the next time I go to Japan, because I would love to have this as a ARS slab, because there's nothing on the back that will count as damage, like the Mewtwo, for example. The only reason why the Mewtwo got a 9 is because of that corner I just showed you. But yeah, this is lost in the mail, and I was so annoyed. I was like, yeah, whatever, it is what it is. You know, worst case scenario, you lose 3 cards. I mean, I guess I paid money buying these to pull these, and then also for grading fees. But I'd rather lose something like this than, like, you know, vintage, for example, which you can't really get back again. This you can just get. I mean, this is like top 1 billion right now. I still stand by it. I think this is one of the coolest looking Charizards that they've ever released. So that's pretty hype. All right, let's do the grades first. I had 3 other cards here that didn't meet the minimum grade that I took out. And they're actually all my homies anyway, so it's fine. But really, I wanted this one. This one was my biggest one that I wanted to see how it grades. Let me make sure it's right. Well, actually, it's this one. Let's do this one first. I got one of these basketball Luffys, but here's a funny story. I bought this off of sheer FOMO and hype. I saw it pop up on my feed. I don't know what it was. I immediately dove in and bought it because it was $700. I'm like, yeah, this is not bad. I can buy it. And then I realized I made a mistake, because the next day this $700 card was $300. And then I found out that they're giving these away for free at just college basketball shows for like the entire season. And now they're even cheaper. So I bought this solely because I was thinking like what was going to happen with the Dodger Luffy, which I really wanted. I don't care about baseball, which is why I didn't end up getting it. But I like unique collabs that happen like that. And I thought that Luffy was really, really sick. And I chose not to get it. And now it's like, all right, well, it's a whiff. So when I saw this pop up, I was like, well, this is a manga Luffy. I'm not missing out on this. So I bought it for $700. And then I got so annoyed because then BGS 10 sold for like $700 the next day. And I was like, great. Well, if it hits a 10, I guess I paid for a 10. And luckily we did. I mean, it was pretty good condition. Don't do that, though. What I did, don't do that. Now, the important one is this one. I already saw the grade. We got the 10 Nami. I pulled this the day that the Heroines set came out. I went to my local, shot the Rare and Sleeveless, and I was like, yeah, let me get a single box. Literally just one singular box. I saw that they had Boa in there. They had the Manga Uda. They have, you know, Robin and Nami. And I was like, see what happens. You know, worst case scenario, I'll get some cool secret rares that I can either slab up and put like in the binder. And of course, this was in there. The way, the face that, shout to Justin, he runs Rare Sleeves. The face that Justin made when I was like, hey bro, I was like, is this good? He's like, of course he did. Yeah, this card was great. I currently have a Robin being graded as well that I'm still waiting for the grade on. My homie CT Asian DMG is at the Dallas card show right now. He flew out for that for some of his cards, and I had him take that with me as well. And I'm gonna have him potentially bring me back a 10. I hope. I definitely bought the Robin. I was like, if I got the Nami, I need a Robin. But controversial opinion. This looks better in gold than Black Label because, you know, it matches the label. I would love a Black Label. I'm not gonna lie, but like, I like the aesthetic. That's one of the reasons why I wanted also in the Beckett slab and the PSA slab. It was sick. Great hit. All right, and now we rant about Beckett. So I did my first review for the first time since last year. And one of the reasons why I stopped doing reviews is I realized that all the review systems that they do is like a, they're obviously just cock blocking Black Labels. That's what it is at the end of the day. They are. Because the only reason why I noticed is because I would send the same card in over and over again and notice that every single time I got the card back, that note said something different that completely went against what was said before. Starting with these two. Let's do these two first, actually. Because I can tell you right now, whichever one this is my original one. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. Ooh. So I've been trying to black label this one for like 2 years now, basically. And every time I got it back, they always said it's off center, top to bottom. Top to bottom. Now it's to the right. These cards can't be off center to the left and right because they were like cut pretty well. It's the shift always would happen top to bottom for the Dark Magician Girl herself. And even then, it's not off center. It's just the way the card, the character's in the card. But the card itself can't be, there's no borders. That's why I hate centering as a thing, because this card literally doesn't have a border. There's no like outline where you can match it. But now suddenly, after it being top to bottom for the past year, now it's to the right. Bro, this is annoying. This is the one that I bought, by the way, which I got a funny story about that. And this one is also going to the right. What's funny is, and this is what I'm about to show, prove Beckett wrong. If you look at both of these, you're gonna notice that both of these cards, see how like the top of her hat is just barely like poking out, and then here it's not. So she shifted upwards on this one, and she shifted a bit downwards on this one, but it's not left and right because these can't be off center left and right. So it's like, if Beckett would have said up top to bottom again, I'm like, okay, sure. But the fact that they didn't, sure. So you're just gatekeeping it. And I've also seen the one black label that exists. This one, honestly, was very, very close to that. If not, I would even say it might be better. Well, probably not better, but because it's obviously black label, but it's literally the same as far as centering. And yet this one is shifted to the left and right now suddenly. Fun fact about this is, so this is one of the rarest Dark Magician Girls you can get. It came out back in 2001. There was 3 different artworks and 3 different rarities if you ordered the game for Dungeon Dice. And there was this is Pop 3 for BGS 10. And then one moved up to Black Label, so then became Pop 2. And then a third copy got graded, which is the one that I ended up picking up. I bought this originally like 3 months ago on one of those auctions in eBay that just went under the radar, but I lost. And my max bid was like $2,500, and I lost that. And I'm like, yeah, it is what it is. I expected to go around that price. And then the same card got listed again a month later, which makes me believe that the owner previously probably either bought it or maybe something happened, they didn't pay. But this got listed a month later again, went super on the radar. I bid my max $1,000, and I was like, you know what? If it shoots up above that, I don't care. And then I ended up winning it for $800 because it went so on the radar. Everything else was so focused on Pokemon and everything else that auction that people didn't realize that this was there. And then I won it for like $800. Insane. Both of these are like probably some of the craziest Dark Magician cards you can own. Like, it's not obviously the same Yu-Gi-Oh card you guys grew up with because it's a different art style, but as a promo and how hard it is to get these and how crazy it is to get these in good conditions, I feel like they are definitely undervalued. Anyways, I'm probably done reviewing this, so I give up, but I got 2 copies now, I guess. This is what annoys me. Again, going back to, oh, look at that. Same thing. Oh, my gosh. Yeah, it's, again, just make sure it's an arrow and not pointing at something. White Schwartz cards are, like, really hard to be off-center. Again, there's no border. So what they usually look at is, like, the wings. But even then, it's like, that's just card design. Whatever. This is one of the coolest cards that came out from White Schwartz in 2024. Dengeki Bunko. There's like 50 different SPs in the set, and it was like 1 per case or something, or 2 per case. No, 3 per case, I think. Yeah, it was 3 SPs per case, and the chance of pulling the one you wanted was like super low because there's like 50. So this card only went on sale 1 time since it came out, and this is the one that CT, Agent DMG, picked up for me because he just happened to see it on TCG Player the day it got listed, sniped it, subbed it for me, came back in 10. By far the best card in the set. Also 86 flawless anime. One of the most satisfying endings of all time. And this would actually be so sick in Black Label because, like, you know, it would match the card. But I mean, I guess, centering. It's always centering, bro. Like, at least have a good excuse. Finally, we got, the Treasure Rare Nami, the first Treasure Rare that came out in One Piece. I was a big fan of this card because it's like, it reminds me of, like, the Grand Theft Auto, like, box art and the load screens. With the One Piece twist, obviously. And a lot of people didn't like this card. When this first came out, I bought like 4 copies left and right. And then the price died because no one liked it. But suddenly now it's popular because now One Piece has like a lot of eyes on it. And they said, we have 2 circles. I mean, I can't see anything. But I will say this. If they have something like this where they show you something that they found, it's a lot more believable than say, oh yeah, centering sucks. I might try this again at some point. Maybe at like a card show. Then again, also just might be done with Black Labels. As somebody who owns a lot of Black Labels, I think the black label tag is the most overhyped rarity you can have for cards, just because most black labels and gold 10s look the same. It's just every now and then they'll say, yeah, now it's that 9.5 centering, it's a 10. It's like it looks the same like as my regular gold 10. Like how's it different? How do you guys decide? You just flip a coin? But at the end of the day, some people are always gonna like prefer black label for the premium and overpay, even though they're the same card. Yeah. I don't know if I'm gonna do a reveal of the cards I get from CT. It's only like 3 cards, but if I do, I'll upload a video and then let me know your thoughts. I'm also gonna do probably. I know a lot of people have been asking you about grading and companies and who to use. Honestly, use whoever gives you the best comfort, I guess. My fear right now is ARS, and I would use them way more if I could. It's just you have to live in Japan to use them because I think their slabs are just so sick. It feels so like, you know, expensive. They hold the card, they show off the card really, really well. Now, my goal with grading has always been like, is the card protected? Is it like amongst the best condition possibly? That's all I care about. And also, you can see how many exist. But if you guys prefer CGC, Tag, you know, BGS, ABC, whatever, you know, company you're using, if ABC even is one, you know, use one that you like. End of the day, it doesn't really matter. I don't want to turn into like a, oh, well, my grading company's better than yours because X, Y, and Z. It's like, I mean, I can name 10 things your company did wrong. The same way you can name 10 things that PSA did wrong or Beckett did wrong. End of the day, they all make mistakes. So I don't like this, turning this into like a war and being all like, mine's better than yours doesn't get us anywhere at the end of the day. You know what matters? Collectibles. Having that cool card that you finally like got your hands on, whether you pulled it, you bought it at a card show, that's what matters. Having that in collection, you know, that's what matters. As far as who has a slab around it, doesn't matter at the end of the day. Anyways, thank you all for watching. I'll see you in the next video.